So once again, welcome back to the channel, and we were going to deal with modern age literature because of some issues in camera setting. We had to deal with the class for 5 minutes. So I'm back. I'm visible. I'm a visible man now. Before this, people were writing, Sir has become Griffith, invisible man. But this is what I want you to do. Connect literature everywhere, wherever you can connect. अपने आप से बात करो. So there are two students who connected me to those references. So this is a capsule content because modern age is really big. When I teach it in offline batch, it's around 10 plus classes. So modern age is really big. So I will be teaching you मॉडर्न एज. कम समय में एक्यूरेट जगह पे हिट करना है. एक छोटी सी कहानी सुनाता हूं. आई स्टार्ट अ स्टोरी बिफोर आई स्टार्ट माई क्लास. दिस इज हाउ टीच. Hundreds of people were sailing in a big luxury ship just like Titanic. बहुत सारे लोग, सैकड़ों, एक पानी के जहाज में जा रहे थे. In the mid of the ocean, the engines, they just broke off. They were switched off. Engines stopped working and everybody got panicked. सब डर गए कि यार पानी के बीच में इंजन्स जो है वो बंद हो गए, अब क्या करें, वेयर टू गो. एंड इट वाज द टाइम ऑफ हाई टाइड, इट वाज द टाइम ऑफ स्टॉर्म. एवरीबॉडी वाज स्कैर्ड व्हाट टू डू. द शिप कैप्टन सेड, डोंट वरी, वी हैव इंजीनियर्स फ्रॉम ऑक्सफोर्ड एंड कैम्ब्रिज एंड हार्वर्ड. वी विल डू समथिंग and we will restart the engine. Now, when they tried their best, none of them, those highly educated people, none of them could start the engine. There was an old man, old sailor. That old sailor came and said, I want to try it. Captain looked at him and said, you old man, clumsy man, my engineers from Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, they are not able to start. How can you start? That old man said, let me try. So old man entered in the deck side. He went to the engine cabin, found the problem, came out and said, give me a hammer. मुझे एक हथौड़ा ला के दो. Captain brought a big hammer because the problem was big. Old man smiled and said, no, not that big hammer. Give me a small hammer, a normal hammer. Captain gave him another hammer. That man went down again to the deck, and there in the engine cabin, he hit the engine 3 times. Tuck, tuck, tuck. 3 times. Just tuck, tuck, tuck. Engine start, full speed. He comes out, captain and everybody thanks him. They all say, thank you so much, you have saved our life. Captain becomes polite and comes to the old man and says, can I say a thanks by giving you $10? Thank you so much. 3 बार आपने कहीं पे ऐसे hit किया है. I'll give you $10. This is my thanks to you. He smiled and said, don't worry, I will send you the bill. I will send you the bill. After 10 days, when the ship it reached to the another area, it embarked on some other place. Company called the captain and said, what is this? Company had a big bill. एक बहुत बड़ा bill था. Company said, what is this? This is $10 billion bill. What is this? What happened? Captain said, nothing happened. Just a small issue. Some old man came and knocked it thrice and got it clear. So company went to court that we are not going to pay this much. Why to pay this much only for 3 knocks? 3 बार किसी ने ऐसे किया, इतना पैसा, $10 billion. So when that old man was called in the court, that old man said, yes sir, $10 are enough for knocking 3 times. But the rest of the big amount is required for my knowledge where to hit exactly. This is what we call bull's eye. उसने कहा मुझे 3 बार हथौड़ा मारने के 10 रुपए दे दो चलेगा, $10 दे दो चलेगा, पर वो हथौड़ा कहां पे मारना है, एग्जैक्टली कहां पे लगना चाहिए, मुझे उस नॉलेज का पैसा चाहिए. So that's what I'm saying, bull's eye. Crash course, we are going to hit bull's eye. So come back. We're going to deal with modern age literature. Now see, when we talk about modern age or modern age literature, make your notes, start making notes. The important thing that you have to remember is the key factors of modernism. What are the immediate key reasons, key factors? Immediate reason kya hai? What are the immediate reasons of age, literary age, modern age? How all of a sudden it became modern? The first of all, most important thing, rise of capitalism. You know, in Victorians, business was at the top. Capitalism, the word capitalism was coined in Victorian age. So word capitalism, concept of capitalism, Poonjivadi vichar, it was already prevalent in Victorian age. But by the time of moderns, it all became money market thing. Stock markets आ गए थे, stock market system शुरू हो गया था. फिर जो बैंक system है, banking system, it all started. So technically the race was not only of arms and ammunition, it was also the race of financial power. Financial power कौन strong है? The first most important thing, rise of capitalism that develops modern age. Then second important thing, write down this thing, आप लिखते जाना, इसको notes बनाते जाना. All the crash course students make notes. Second important thing, the World War I situation. World War I situation, 1914 to 1918. See, this is the time of World War I. But before World War I, the World War I situation was already going on. In 1905, Italy was defeated by Ethiopia. Japan defeated Russia. Then other countries, Denmark, Sweden, Poland, they were regularly fighting. Poland was most notorious. हर किसी पे attack कर देता था. Fight was going on. Do you know that even the small countries were becoming threats to big countries? Japan, a very small country, defeated Russia. Ethiopia, a very small country, defeated Italy. In short, the reason was here the race of arms and ammunition, machine gun. All my students who follow my channel religiously, I have a craze of firing guns. I was in Thailand. Semi-automatic gun चलाई है मैंने. मेरा कंधा जो है injured हो गया था. You can watch my videos and my shorts. Vineet Sir firing guns. And it was not. So machine guns came. 600 bullets being fired in 1 minute can make anybody feel confident. तो लड़ाई के आसार, लड़ाई के रीजन क्या थे? Financial war, race of arms and ammunition, and then the World War I itself. Now, World War I, we know about this thing, you have read the history. It was immediately started after the Prince of Serbia, Ferdinand, got killed. अब ये war कैसे start हुआ था? Ferdinand, the Prince of Serbia, he was killed. Serbian prince, he was going to visit some country. His bodyguards, his intelligence department told him not to go because there was a threat to his life. His life was in danger. Serbian prince didn't care. He didn't even think about it. He said, I will go. So when he was having a public rally, somebody tossed a grenade at him. किसी ने उस पे grenade फेंका. But that grenade, it actually bumped on the bonnet of the car and bounced in the public. हुआ ये, किस्मत अच्छी थी. Grenade जो था कार के बम्पर पे, you know, so the grenade hits the bumper of the car and bounces back, and it bounced and went to the crowd and blasted. So a lot of people got killed, but Prince Ferdinand, he survived. In the evening, Prince Ferdinand said, I want to meet those people who are injured, who are in hospital. It is my duty to meet them. His bodyguards told him that, sir, please don't do this. This is a clear threat. They are trying to kill you. If you go outside, they'll kill you. But Prince Ferdinand said, no, it is my duty. All these people came to see me. They came to welcome me. It is my duty to go and meet those people. Prince Ferdinand comes again in his car and is going to meet those people. This is the time somebody fires a bullet, and when the driver tries to take a safe turn, तो ड्राइवर ने क्या किया, गाड़ी भगाई. जैसे ही गोली चली, गाड़ी भगाई. And the driver made historical mistake, और दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी mistake हो गई. Driver took a wrong turn. Have you seen the movie? Wrong turn movie देखी है किसी ने? Driver ने लिया wrong turn, and driver, under panic to save the prince, took wrong turn, entered in a street which was closed from the another end. एक ऐसी गली में मुड़ा बाईं तरफ जो आगे से बंद थी. Driver had to take his car back. Driver को अपनी कार बैक करनी पड़ी. 19-year-old boy was standing like this, having a country-made pistol in his pocket, and he got a chance once in a life. The target, Prince Ferdinand, was just at 5 feet away. उससे 5 feet दूर एक गाड़ी बैक हो रही थी. 19 साल का लड़का ऐसे खड़ा था. He took his country-made pistol out, shot Ferdinand dead. That boy belonged to the revolutionary group. Ferdinand got killed. It immediately started a war between Serbia, Poland, and other countries. ऑस्ट्रिया, वियना, सब वॉर स्टार्ट हो गया. द इमीडिएट रीजन ऑफ वर्ल्ड वॉर वन वॉज अ वन रॉन्ग टर्न. दिस इज कॉल्ड बटरफ्लाई इफेक्ट. इसे बटरफ्लाई इफेक्ट कहा जाता है. This effect in culture study I will teach you in detail. This is called butterfly effect. Part of culture studies. One small mistake, one wrong turn and history got changed. इतिहास बदल गया. एक गलती, इतिहास बदल गया. अगर फर्डिनेंड बच जाता तो वर्ल्ड वॉर वन नहीं होता. Immediately स्टार्ट नहीं होता. One wrong turn, one chance and the boy didn't let it go. उस बंदे ने इसको मिस नहीं किया. That's called butterfly effect. Even a small change can create havoc. छोटी सी चीज दुनिया बदल सकती है. That's butterfly effect. So World War I started. Now, as you have understood this, butterfly effect is even a small thing can be the reason of biggest things. Even a small thing can be the reason of biggest thing. So that's butterfly effect. That even if a butterfly is fluttering the wings, it is not in vain. Motivation for all of you. If you're doing something, keep doing. It has a meaning. Now, friends, you all know World War. Was it just painful and sad for everyone? क्या ये सबके लिए दुखी था? दुखी करने का रीजन था? No. People made business. Arms and ammunition sellers making a lot of money. Then people who were selling other stuff required for war became rich. Then people who were, collecting the food, collection कर रहे थे, black marketing of food, everybody became rich. All these people were enjoying World War I situation. Now tell me this thing. What is the effect of society? When the world war is going on, nothing is sure. You prefer yourself first. The idea of individuality got developed here. यहाँ पे idea of individuality develop होने लगा. लोगों ने अपने ऊपर focus करना शुरू किया. अब देखो, after World War I, when they came out of the shock of World War I, I'll teach you the war poetry, I'll teach you shell shock terms. World War I खत्म हुआ. They were trying to come out. 1920s का time, then 1930s, and all of a sudden another issue, another problem took place. The another problem took place was sinking of HMS Titanic. Titanic डूब गया. HMS Titanic. Now, what do you know about Titanic? Tell me. Let's see your knowledge. तब तक मैं थोड़ा पानी पी लेता हूं. It's a long class. It's a long class. बताओ. What do you know about Titanic? I'm reading your comments. Capitalism. Other. Come on. Tell me. Nobody knows about Titanic? How can you forget this kind of beautiful photos thing which is being copied? Okay. Now see this thing. The sinking of Titanic, I was checking the timing of actually. It was by 1912. Sinking of Titanic, how it is connected to modern age? Have you ever wondered like this thing? I was listening to a lecture by James Sutherland, a professor in Oxford University. He delivered a lecture that even the sinking of Titanic is connected to modernism. I do follow foreign professors. Sinking of Titanic 1912. How it is connected to modernism. See, Titanic, it sank on the first ever journey. पहली journey पे डूब गया था. First ever, or you can say first maiden journey. Titanic कब डूबा था? First maiden journey पे, पहली ही journey पे Titanic डूब गया. Tell me this thing. Who were the people who bought the tickets of Titanic? Titanic की tickets किसने खरीदी थी? Who were those rich people or poor people? Titanic had around 3,000 people boarded. 3,000 people. Out of them, around 900 were the crew. 900 लोग सिर्फ crew थे. 900 people were only crew. When it sank, the people who bought the ticket of Titanic was not an ordinary man, a middle class man, a rich class man. They were super rich. They were barons. They were leading cricketers. They were the business owners. They were the top leading class of the world. And everybody booked the ticket because Titanic के लिए कहा गया था, it was unsinkable. What was the main thing of promotion for Titanic? It was unsinkable. वो कहते थे कभी नहीं डूबेगा. Titanic had three metal bases of Titanic. So they used to say it is unsinkable. ये कभी नहीं डूबेगा. 3 layers of Titanic. Everybody booked ticket that okay, I will be the part of Titanic's first journey, maiden journey. Super rich people, 900 people for a crew. Imagine around 2000 people were the super rich people leading the world. 2000 people leading the world. Around 1000 people, 1000 क्या 1500 plus people died. बहुत सारे बचा लिए गए थे. 1500 plus people died. Okay, it is just an estimate. I'm not giving you factual exact data. अंदाजा, क्योंकि मुझे literature से connect करना है. 1500 people who were leading the world at that time. Every sector, हर sector के leads, हर sector के leaders, 1500 plus people. They all died. Technically, what happened? Technically, what happened was that England became, the world order became chaotic. It was chaos, a confusion, chaos, anarchy. Please remember this thing when you study modern literature. Chaos and anarchy are most famous and repeatedly used words. Chaos and anarchy बहुत important words हैं in modern and post-modern literature. Please remember this thing. हर बंदा गया. देखो, Aditi Sharma has written multi-millionaire George Washington, Vanderbilt, his wife were on Titanic. Yes, they did not keep lifeboats properly because they believed in this thing that it is unsinkable. Now see this thing. Imagine India's top leading class disappears. Ambani, Adani, Birla, Tata, then all top cricketers, all top other sports members, all top politicians who are taking Titanic, all of a sudden they disappear. You become leaderless, which is like condition of chaos and anarchy, and a sense, a message given to the mankind that you can never beat nature. तुम nature के सामने कुछ नहीं हो. This was the message that was spreaded worldwide. You are nobody in front of nature. तुम nature के आगे कुछ नहीं हो. The same thing was told by Lord Byron in Romantic Age. Remember Lord Byron? George Gordon Byron. Lord Byron wrote a famous work. इनका एक famous book है. There is a pleasure in pathless world. There is a pleasure in pathless world. This is a poetry canto taken from Childe Harold. This poetry is taken from the collection Childe Harold, an epic. He says, man thinks man commands ocean, but man runs to his God with just one shower. समुद्र की अगर एक लहर आ जाए, तो जो आदमी कहता है मैंने समुद्र पे कब्जा किया है, the one who says that I have commanded the ocean, 10,000 fleet, they run to their gods. आज हमें लगता है ना दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी नेवल पावर जापान, अमेरिका, दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी नेवी, 7th fleet of America that came to attack India, 10th fleet of Russia that came to defend India. They are nothing in front of tsunami. एक सुनामी के सामने अब कुछ नहीं हो. So the message that was again spreaded was that man versus nature, man is nothing. Man is trying to command nature, but man versus nature, man is nothing. अब देखो इसके बाद आता है नेक्स्ट मोमेंट. क्लास लंबी होने वाली है. इट्स अ लॉन्ग क्लास, बट वन थिंग इज श्योर, you will never need any lecture again to understand modernism. We will also go for poetry, drama, terminologies, some important concepts. So do not miss this class. Those who want to join crash course, admissions are going on. It is a crash course class. तो जिनको अभी भी crash course join करना है, you can join it. This is how I'm going to teach. When I will teach you, I will not use any slide. I will teach you like a teacher with a pen. Okay? So now come back. We have talked about this thing. The another thing that happened, अब इससे बाहर आते हैं. Another thing that happened was 1930s Great Depression. Put the point. Next point we have is 1930s Great Depression. (1930s) Great Depression. Now, what is the depression? This is economic depression. Do you know this is important? क्या लगता है? Important है कि नहीं है? The people who are following me religiously, regularly, they will say कि विनीत सर जो है Great Depression पढ़ाते हैं. Great Depression novels, these have been asked in exam. And along with this, Rudyard Kipling wrote Recession, a Victorian ode. This has been asked in net exam. Great Depression से related poetries के works के बारे में आपको बताता हूँ. When it was going on or the conditions were going on, there is a famous work written by Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling, Recession, a Victorian ode. This has been asked in exam. Who has written Recession, a Victorian ode? The Great Depression of 1930s. Recession, a Victorian ode. Underline this thing. 1930s Great Depression. Now, what happened actually? See, there was a rumor spreaded by the media. They said that the Lehman Brothers Bank has failed, which resulted in a stock market crisis, Wall Street crash. इसे famously कहा जाता है Wall Street crash. So you know what is Wall Street. You all understand this. And again, that is not the topic. We have to avoid what is stock market. अब मुझे stock market तो मुझे भी नहीं आता, I don't know. But Wall Street crash is kind of biggest bank of the world and it actually collapsed. The failure of Lehman Brothers Bank, it resulted in a big failure and it was a economic crisis. दुनिया में economic crisis हो गया. People had money, but there was no value of money. Economic crisis. Economic crisis में England survived economic crisis because they started exploiting colonized countries. They started using the colony. So England survived economic crisis because they had colony. तो उनको जितना नुकसान था वो इंडिया से लेके गए. So they started exploiting colonies to get money. So 1930s condition, people, those who were rich countries, they controlled, but the rest of the world became extremely poor. I have read this thing in economics. I had economics in graduation. हमें ये पढ़ाया गया था, एक एक रुपए की चीज एक एक हजार रुपए की बिकती थी. इसे आर्थिक महामंदी कहते हैं. 1930 की फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस, आर्थिक महामंदी. Now, after just this issue, the another things which were going on together was the politics. अब इंग्लैंड में जो पॉलिटिक्स थी, it was no more dealing with Tories and Whigs. Earlier the politics was between Tories and Whigs. But by this time, House of Commons, House of Lords, Salman Rushdie 2010 House of Lords को donkey बोला था. He called them donkeys, stupid donkeys. House of Lords and Labour Party. So the Common People Party, Labour Party came. The politics took a proper, control. Politics, House of Commons, House of Lords, Labour Party, Conservative parties. These parties took control of England. And politics got widespreaded. हमें पूरा समझना है. We need to know more than net exam so that we can answer these things. So these were the factors. Then World War II situation, World War II and all these things. It was a quiet change that everything was going through a big change. Now, why it is called modern age? So now I'm sure you'll understand this thing. Let's point it out. Please remember this thing. The famous quotation by Ezra Pound, American author Ezra Pound, teacher of T.S. Eliot, teacher guide, edited Wasteland. Ezra Pound said, the only aim of modernism is to make it new. So make it new is simply a slogan. Make it new. So what is the common factor to understand and define the modern age? Make it new. Whatever you're doing, do different. मैगी को मिरांडा में मिला के लोग खा रहे हैं, chocolate momos खा रहे हैं, which is post-modern, meaningless, but it is something new. So do something new, do something different. Then W.H. Auden, Weston Hughes Auden, called it Age of Anxiety. It is name of his famous book, which is a Pulitzer Awardee book. So he called modern age Age of Anxiety. It is actually a name of the book, but in the book, and the book has won Pulitzer Award, he said this is the age. But our own Virginia Woolf, she defines it in a beautiful way. So let's write the third quote. The third quote is by Virginia Woolf. and these questions have been asked. ये सारे पेपर में questions हैं. This is the first class of crash course. Virginia Woolf. Write down this quotation as it is. In 1910, human character changed. In 1910, human character changed. 1910, human character changed. Question as it is, and it was an assertion reason question. What does Virginia Woolf want to say when she says in 1910 human character changed? So we have talked about these two things: make it new, do something different, right? Do something different, make it new. Age of anxiety, every age was nervous, and every sector they were doing some kind of new thing. Then this, in 1910 human character changed. She says that there was a change visible, there was a change gradual, people could feel the change. Now see, point, this is very important. They can ask you a question, वो आपको एक question पूछेंगे. According to Virginia Woolf, in which year modernism came? 1910. In which year, according to Virginia Woolf, human character changed, it became modern? 1910. But if it becomes assertion reason question, we have to understand what she wants to say. What happened in 1910? Some big incident, some big thing? No, it's not like that. Virginia Woolf simply says that the change was gradual, change was visible. And she also says that it was not like a change that I am in my room, I ran to my balcony and garden and I found things changed. No, ऐसा change नहीं हुआ था. She says it was not a change like this, that okay, I'm going to my garden running and then I come out and I see, oh my God, everything has been changed. No, it's not like that. She says change was gradual, change was visible, we could feel the change, there was something being changed. So let's call it 1910. So let's say 1910. So there is no proper reason. She just says that we can feel the change, we could feel it, we could see the difference. Coffee house culture, party culture, pub culture, reading library, going for libraries, and then various mindset, individuality, questioning religion, many things. So we were seeing the change. सड़कों पे कारें चलने लगी थी, मशीन्स आने लगी थी, एटीएम मशीन आ गई थी बहुत पहले, वेट वजन करने वाली मशीन. These things were big inventions at that time. So she said, let's say it changed by 1910. चलो मान लेते हैं. So there is no strong or proper reason related to 1910. Virginia Woolf simply says, take it as a 1910. ऐसे मान लो, right? I'm reading your comments. Yeah. There were many lot of short poetry movement, suffrage movement. बहुत अच्छा लिखा इन्होंने यहाँ पे. अंजलि ने एक point और दिया. Yes, it is also a point. 1920s के आसपास का movement है suffrage movement, when the female got voting rights. By 1920s, women's suffrage movement. This is very important from feminist perspective. Please note it down. Voting rights given to women. Women were giving the voting rights. So that was also a good thing. Voting rights given to women. Then people who were exploring. एक और बहुत बड़ा factor है in the development of modern age that I'll teach you. One of the biggest factor in the development of modern age is Sigmund Freud. One of the biggest reason, a writer who just shook the world. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis theories, the man who came with the theory of dreams, interpretation of dreams. Publication has been asked in NET exam. It's around 1899, 1900. Be confirmed. Ab check karna. Publication has been asked in NET exam. And options were very close. 1899, 1900, 1901, 1902. So you find it out. Okay. Chalo, give me a minute. Check karte hain. शायद 1899 होना चाहिए. Interpretation of dreams. 1899. I won. 1899. Please remember this thing. ये question है as it is exam में. As it is. And the options were 1900, 1901, 1902. So even if you have mugged up, you get scared. What if I'm wrong? Okay? Closely associated. Ananya corrected, it's 1899. See, somebody is writing 1900, somebody is writing 1901. That's confusing. Okay, when I will teach you, I'll give you the details. Point to be noted, this man, he wrote a famous work, Interpretation of Dreams. And he came with the idea that your dreams are not some divine thing. Your dreams are actually your own understanding, your own mind, and unconscious mind talking to you. This man came with a theory of this thing. He said your dreams are not divine thing, divine message or divine connection. People believed in this thing that dreams have divine connection, divine message. You see a bad dream, you talk to your mama says that okay, God is giving you a message. My mom does that. If I see a snake, shh, my mom says okay, pray Lord Shiva tomorrow. And if I see my own death, then my mom says now you will have a long life. And if I see, once I saw cockroach. So I don't know, I checked it on Google and I found something, seriously. ठीक है, कोई ना कुछ बता रहा था. So this man came that man's personality is not the original personality. Now see this point. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about society, fine. William Shakespeare wrote about society, fine. Milton, John Donne, Ben Jonson, Bunyan, Francis Bacon, Dryden, Pope, Swift, Edison, Steele, then pre-romantics, Cooper, Thomas Gray, William Collins, Macpherson, then Jane Austen, then Richard Sheridan, then Lawrence Sterne, all these people, everybody was writing about society, hero, ideal heroine, villain, ideal love, ideal sacrifices, friendship. And then this man comes and says, no, man has two personality. I'm using the reference of Northrop Frye. Persona and shadow. Please remember this thing. I am using the reference of Northrop Frye. ये मत बोल देना कि विनीत सर ने गलत कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ाया है. सिगमंड फ्रॉइड के टर्म्स अलग हैं. I am using the reference of Northrop Frye. Please remember this thing. Sigmund Freud came with ego, superego, and id. I'll teach you all these points in detail. मैं आपको सारे point detail में पढ़ाऊंगा. He said, what you show to the world and what you hide from the world, you yourself have multiple personalities. So, abhi tak ka literature, whatever we read till now, it was fake. Because we did not know the real personality of Othello. We did not know the real personality of Othello, Hamlet, and others. Modernism started focusing on the twin personalities. Modern age ने दोनों personalities पे काम करना शुरू किया. I will take special class of psychoanalysis theory. I'll teach you all these concepts in detail. So don't worry. आपको ये सारे कॉन्सेप्ट दोबारा पढ़ाए जाएंगे. डोंट वरी. एंड लेक्चर्स ऑफ नॉर्थरॉप फ्राई, मिथ क्रिटिसिज्म, इट विल बी शेयर्ड विद यू. मिथ क्रिटिसिज्म का लेक्चर आपको दिया जाएगा. सो यू विल गेट इट. डोंट वरी. ओके, डोंट फील कि सर ये अभी नहीं करना तो कब करना है. नाउ सी द पॉइंट. दे केम विद द आइडिया स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस, primarily a term coined by William James in Principles of Psychology. The term was coined by William James in Principle of Psychology. Stream of consciousness deals with the multiple different states of your mind. The conscious presence of the past in your present brain. Past is always present in your present brain. And then, suppose this is your mind. Suppose this is your mind. So your mind has past, it is present, and your mind has present. And they both have interrelationship. Then you take any decision. So जब कोई आप decision लेते हो, तो your continuous presence of the past in the present brain is called stream of consciousness. I know समझ में नहीं आया होगा. नहीं आया होगा समझ में. Okay, so Indian students, there is a beautiful song. There is a beautiful Bollywood song. दिल संभल जा जरा फिर मोहब्बत करने चला है तू. What does that mean? Have you heard this song? It's a movie, Murder 2, good songs. दिल संभल जा जरा फिर मोहब्बत करने चला है तू. Lover is talking to his own heart that mind it. You are going to fall in love again. Who is telling him to mind it? Because he has a bad experience. His past was not good. So he says, Dil samhal ja jara, heart, control your emotions, control your feelings. You are going to fall in love again. Beware. बच के रहना भाई. दोबारा से प्यार होने वाला. It means the past incident is present in his brain. And in his present brain, this past is playing role. So suppose in present brain he is going to fall in love, okay, but his past is also present and says no, bach ke rehna, bach ke rehna. Just like after a bad relationship you are scared for next relationship. Simple. That stream of consciousness. In Hindi, दूध का जला छाछ भी फूंक फूंक के पीता है. So if you got burns while drinking a hot milk, next day, even if you have the buttermilk, it's not hot. Still you'll be reminded of that tragedy, the trauma. तो एक बार अगर आपका दूध से मुंह जल गया, ठीक है, तो आपको छाछ देख के भी डर लगेगा. I have some these kind of traumas. I was playing football at the beach, Goa beach. So you know my legs and feet, they were muddy, and वो जो बालू लगी होती है, that beach sand, it was all over. So I tried to kick the football and I missed it, and my last finger, it hits the football and my nail was taken away. मेरा नाखून उतर गया बीच पे गोवा में. I tried to kick and somehow it slipped. And I'm telling you, I have this feeling. Whenever I see people playing football at the beach, I have shiverings. I'm telling you, I feel disgust. Now I see people playing football at the beach and I'm like, oh, no, please, I can't see that. Some of you also have this kind of thing. That's continuous presence of the past in the present brain. So मैं भी गाना गाता हूँ, दिल संभल जा जरा, फुटबॉल मत खेल, लग जाएगी. So if you ask me to play the football at the beach again, I will be very much conscious playing football. Maybe I'll say no because I have that experience of that trauma. You can also share अपने trauma या इस तरफ की चीजें मुझे comments में बताना. You can tell me that sir, I also feel like that. I am scared of heights. Sir, I'm scared of fire. Somebody got burned in some childhood. Now that person is scared of. These traumas are also the part of stream of consciousness. ये मुझे बताना आप, ठीक है? चलो. Now we are going towards some important terminologies. Please remember, stream of consciousness, William James, Principle of Psychology, 1924. It's a very important term. When I will teach you writers, James, Joyce and all, I will be talking about these things. Then, the most important terms. Please note down these points. To save your time, to give you effective information. We have also started our classes of Google Drive. Today, Anglo section part 1 was completed. It is available free of cost on my YouTube. So check today, just before afternoon's lecture, today's afternoon lecture. If you want to be the part of offline batch or Google Drive, watch today's class. If you're comfortable with today's class, you can join the Google Drive. जो बच्चे crash course में आ रहे हैं, this is the way I'll teach. So Constable Roman, see, this Constable Roman is simply a term which is applied for artistic development. Artistic development. Artistic development. Just write down this so that I can tell you. But to teach you this thing, I will teach you Bildungsroman Roman first. Here, it is the development of the age. Development of the age. Means a hero, he will be introduced as a child. He will grow up in the story. That is Bildungsroman. So it is a modern day style. It was also used in Victorians and earlier also. A modern day writing style where you tell the story of a child who is growing up. Bildungsroman. Simple story. One of the best work that deals with Bildungsroman concept. David Copperfield. A kid, then he grows up and his stories. So the quite simple thing is child growing up. Best example, Dickens, David Copperfield. Dickens का David Copperfield आप ले सकते हो. या फिर hard times, all the kids they grow up. So if there is a growing up of the age, it is Bildungsroman. यहाँ पे आएगा. But then if you are an artist, for example, some of my old students who were my students 7 years back, 6 years back. So they come and meet me and they say, sir, you have developed a lot. Sir, your knowledge has developed a lot. So artistic development, you're trying to write a poetry, 10 years, you become a great poet. You are painting something, with time you become perfect in your painting. Artistic development is called Constable Roman. One of the finest example that comes is Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. जेम्स जॉयस की बुक का रेफरेंस है, पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ द आर्टिस्ट एज अ यंग मैन. पोर्ट्रेट 1915 की बुक है, ऑफ द आर्टिस्ट एज अ यंग मैन. पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ द आर्टिस्ट एज अ यंग मैन, written by James Joyce, one of the finest postmodern book ever. Here he uses the terms stream of consciousness has been used here. Then same writer, लिख लिया, ये समझ में आ गया. आर्टिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट, जैसे लिली ब्रिस्को इन वर्जीनिया वुल्फ्स famous work To the Lighthouse, Lily Briscoe is developing a painting. So it goes like this. Hello Raghav. Yeah, we have taken suggestions. We are taking suggestions. See, this is actually a public class for crash course. But all the students, sometimes they have concerns that, sir, how will you teach? Sir, आप कैसे पढ़ाएंगे? So I have posted it publicly so that you can understand. This is the way I teach. This is the way overall I teach. So you can take it as a crash course. You can take it as an online course sample. But मैं ऐसे ही पढ़ाऊंगा. I love teaching, and if I'm teaching, I don't need slides. Because slides, PPTs, it actually stops the brain. I want to teach you as a class teacher. I'm not a YouTube performer. I can't teach as a performer. I want to teach as a class teacher. So when some requirements are related PPT, then I can talk about PPTs. But for a proper class, I will give you exact classroom feeling with a normal board. ऐसे ही पढ़ाऊंगा इस तरह से. बहुत tough topic है, बहुत सब चीजें होंगी. And if I really need, I'll try to experiment. But just because I have to impress you, I cannot go with some animation. Animation से पढ़ाना, you cannot teach tough topics with animation. Animation like it means like you are limited. You can teach animation, Hamlet by animation, Othello by animation, but you're not kids. I'm not teaching Hamlet, Othello. Paper doesn't come from basic stories, okay? How can you teach toughest concepts? So I want to use the board. See my speed. अब इसी speed को imagine करो animation से कैसे बनाऊंगा, ठीक है? So not possible. The best thing is we are high level people. We are studying high level concepts and we need to put a lot more. अभी तो gay literature पढ़ाना है. This time in net exam, there were 2 questions from gay literature. Primarily, there is LGBTQ, but now they are studying gay literature separately. So I'm going to deliver a lecture on gay literature in a detailed way. आपको सारा वो बताना है. Now come back. So Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, 1915, James Joyce. This is very important. And then there was a question in net exam. What is the term epiphany? आपको एक term याद करना है. That's very important. It's a very important term. 90% people don't know about it. Coined by James Joyce. Epiphany. A divine or sudden realization. A divine or sudden realization. A divine sudden realization. When you realize something, you're going to do something and something calls you from within and inside and you step back. कुछ करने जा रहे हो और अचानक से मन में लगता है नहीं करना है. जैसे I'm going to suppose करो I'm going to invest my money somewhere and then some feeling that comes from inside and it's like please don't do that. So a sudden striking feeling that changes your step and helps you actually is epiphany. A divine realization. एक ऐसी feeling जो अचानक से आपको लगे that something is wrong, this is not right. Suppose you are going to give your mobile phone to somebody. Somebody came and said, please help me. But then sudden feeling that this is wrong. This is not giving me good vibes. Primarily, girls have a strong sixth sense. इस मामले में लड़कियां आगे हैं. Girls are leading in this thing. They have a strong sixth sense. So they immediately understand the good vibe and the bad vibe. That's epiphany. Sudden feeling that it doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel good. You want to travel and then suddenly you feel like let's cancel the flight and then you find the flight had an accident. Epiphany. Question of that exam. ये पेपर में आ चुका है, ये आपको याद रखना है. Those who are enjoying, please don't forget to like if you're enjoying, if you're learning, और आपको सबसे tough concept modernism, अगर आपको सबसे tough concept easily समझ में आ रहा है, तो don't forget to like. Roman a cliff. Next term we have, note it down, come on. Roman a cliff. It is called a novel with a key. Novel with a key. When your characters from the book, novel with a key, when your characters from the book can be identified in society, characters from the book can be identified in society, can be identified in society. This is also one of the famous modern term, Roman a cliff. Best example, George Orwell, Animal Farm. George Orwell, Animal Farm. Story पढ़ी है Animal Farm की? The story of two pigs, Napoleon, Snowball. These two pigs become the head of the animal farm. They have goats, they have donkeys, they have horse, they have cats, and there is symbolic meaning. Napoleon and Snowball, they stand for Russian leaders. If you are writing a story, but in the story, your characters can be connected in society. That is called Roman a cliff. Epiphany, I've told you. See what happens. In Animal Farm, there are two characters. Both are pigs. And who are these characters? These pigs? Napoleon, Snowball. So it is actually a satire on democracy. It is also a satire on current day politics. But when you read the story, you will understand that, okay, Napoleon and Snowball, they are Russian leaders, and it is an attack on Russian current day politics. So the character of your book is actually connected to some real life character. That is called Roman a cliff. इसको याद रखना है. I will teach you some books related to it that where all we have used Roman a cliff. Then we have talked about this epiphany thing. Let's go for next page. Shell shocked. Very important term. Multiple question in net exam. This is equally good for CUET-PG. Multiple questions. Please remember this thing. The famous character. This is very important. ये नहीं भूलना. You know पेपर में क्वेश्चन आते हैं जब मैं बताता हूं लास्ट मोमेंट पे. इस बार बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आए थे ना लास्ट मोमेंट से, पहले भी आ चुके हैं. Septimus Smith is the most celebrated character, the shell-shocked character. So what is shell-shocked? Shell-shocked term is the part of trauma theories. The Pakistani author Alamgir Hashmi has developed the concept of trauma theory from Asian point of view. Partition trauma, rape trauma. Remember Saadat Hasan Manto, Khol Do. So shell-shocked actually deals with trauma. अब देखो कितने टाइप के ट्रॉमा है. Partition novels, partition books, partition literature. The best word is partition literature. Partition literature deals with trauma. In partition literature, either you read Khushwant Singh, Train to Pakistan, Balachandra Rajan, Dark Dancer, या इनके अलावा चमन नहल का कोई रेफरेंस पढ़ना चाहो, या any other reference जहां पे आप Phoenix fled by Atiya Hussain, Sunlight in Broken Column. These are dealing with partition issues. So somebody who got molested, somebody who saw a lot of bloodshed, and that person is living with trauma. So that trauma, partition literature. Then Holocaust. आपको याद है मैंने Holocaust बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाया था पहले. Holocaust literature, the German concentration camp, Anne Frank's diary, the very famous book by William Styron, Sophie Choice, or the Booker Award book by Australian writer Thomas Neely, Schindler's Ark. These are dealing with traumas, trauma theories. Note it down. Then Saadat Hasan Manto, you know Manto ki kahaniyan. Saadat Hasan Manto's famous book, Open It, which is actually a translation in English. Open It. The Hindi translation or the real book is Khol Do. Khol Do. It is the story of a rape victim, and that rape victim who has been molested, brutally raped, she has been called, she has been taken for a medical test where they are trying to open her dress. So when they say open the dress, khol do, open it. That word, how traumatic this word is for her. That is again the part of trauma theory. So please remember the concept shell shocked is also the part of trauma theory. So I have explained the trauma concept. पहले आपको trauma समझा दिया मैंने. I've given you some reference of trauma theory. Note these down. ये याद कर लो. ठंडा गोश्त, Open It, and Toba Takes Sing. These are the best works. Post-colonial stories. Now come back to shell shocked. अब दोबारा से shell shocked पे आ जाओ. Okay. Who is the famous leading character dealing with shell shocked? In the famous book Mrs. Dalloway, written by Virginia Woolf, published around 1925, Septimus Smith is a character who is suffering from trauma of war trauma. So what is shell? Shell is bomb. The mortar blast, bombs. So a soldier who was at the border front, लगातार bomb blast हो रहे हैं, there was blast, there was mortar firing, that person got shocked. So that trauma is shell shocked. He is shell shocked. His friend died there. That's a very important thing. It's a homosexual reference. So Septimus Smith is a soldier. He is a soldier, and his best friend, Peter Walsh naam hota hai, he died there in the there, and even they were homosexual. They had homosexual relations, gay relations. So he is shocked. He is not able to live in normal society. इसके मन में वो trauma भर गया है. So shell-shocked character in Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf represents this mental state, shell-shocked. And remember this thing. In this book, he commits suicide by jumping out of the window. Jumping out of the window. The same attempt that Virginia Woolf did. Literature is always about hidden messages. He commits suicide by jumping out of the window. Virginia Woolf tried to commit suicide by jumping out of the window. When Mrs. Dalloway in the story gets to know that Septimus Smith has committed suicide, she feels good. She feels good. उसे अच्छा लगता है. Technically, her own choice, her own desires got fulfilled. Virginia Woolf's own suicidal thoughts. Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway, and Septimus Smith are aligned. This is called alignment of characters with the author. Author-character assimilation, postmodern technology, postmodern technique. याद रखना दोस्तों, इसको बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हो. ठीक है, shell shocked हो गया. अब war से related there is another term. There is another term related to war, and that is the lost generation. The lost generation, a term directly related to war. See this thing. Most of the people, they say that the term has been coined by Ernest Hemingway. No, he was a soldier, no doubt. Ernest Hemingway fought. People think American writer Ernest Hemingway coined the term lost generation, but no. The term was actually coined by Gertrude Stein, wife of Alice B. Toklas, American literature reference. The term was actually coined by Gertrude Stein. Gertrude Stein's car broke off and they went to a mechanic. The mechanic was a soldier from the World War. She looked at the soldier and said, so you are the great lost generation. Once hero, now mentally retarded or troubled, working here and there. So वो soldiers जो पहले hero थे, और अब वो soldiers after war, they are just wandering here and there, becoming guards. She uses the term lost generation. The lost generation term, multiple question in an exam. Please remember this. यहाँ से भी question आया हुआ है. Gertrude Stein has coined it, not Ernest Hemingway. किस book में use होता है Ernest Hemingway का, वो हमारा concept है. The sun rises in the east. That is the book. The next one we have is aporia. Next terminology we have aporia. See, primarily aporia is a postmodern term. इस बार के नेट एग्जाम में आया था. I have taught this thing is deconstruction. Aporia is a moment where you are not able to decide. So, moment of undecidability. In Finnegan's Wake, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, Mrs. Dalloway, they are living the state of confusion, that is aporia. Modern literature deals with the idea of aporia where you are not able, moment of confusion, moment of not making a decision. This is very important. I'll teach you this aporia concept in deconstruction theory. In deconstruction theory. In crash course, we will start the tough topics first. पहले हम सारे tough topic करेंगे because जो paper में आया है out of syllabus topics of this paper, last paper, क्रैश कोर्स में वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद दीज टॉपिक्स फर्स्ट. पहले हम ये वाले टॉपिक करने वाले हैं. देन द मॉडर्न पोइट्री. नाउ हियर यू हैव टू राइट डाउन सम इंपॉर्टेंट नेम्स. T.S. Eliot, W.B. Yeats, W.H. Auden, Dylan Thomas. Remember I taught Thornhill. इस बार के पेपर में आया था. I told you कि अंकल जेनी जोन्स से नाम आ सकता है. जिम जोन्स, जेनी जोन्स, Dylan Thomas. Then some minor poets. These are minor poets. Louis MacNeice, Stephen Spender, C.D. Lewis, etc. बहुत सारे. Primarily, what are the postmodern or what are the modern poetry concepts? Modern poetry concepts में you just have to focus on four important points. Number one, they are not happy with the structure of the world. So you can simply say world order decay, or you can simply say doom poetry. They are talking about loss of humanity, hollowness of life, shallowness of the society. We are becoming barren, we are dying, the world order is collapsing. So ये बोलेंगे कि world का order ही खराब हो गया है. Like T.S. Eliot in Wasteland talks about this thing, that the world is not good enough. And W.B. Yeats, Sailing to Byzantium, he says, I want to leave the world, I want to go away. September 1, 1939, W.H. Auden says the world war has started. It is a life of complete chaos and crisis. Second thing, they will discuss with the idea of individuality. Second point है इनका, they will deal with the idea of individuality. Talking about individual issues, individual mindset. For example, T.S. Eliot's famous work, Hollow Men. Yeah, another famous work, Ash Wednesday. In fact, along with these things, the song of J. Alfred Prufrock. One man in connection with other parts of life and nature. W.B. Yeats, he actually talked about symbolism and complete personal life of his own. W.H. Auden talks about ascent of F6. He talks about an individual living in a changed society. तो यहाँ पे ये क्या बात करेंगे? They will talk about man in relation with God, man versus God, man versus nature, man versus society, talking about the dullness of society, and man in relation with himself, man in relation with man. These are the famous modern concepts. Writing style simple, lucid works, no use of unnecessary literary devices, primarily blank verse they have used. Wasteland is in blank verse and the imageries are quite clear. Ye hai main poetry, point oriented, target oriented, no unnecessary elaboration. They are not using puns and other similes. They are using clear, vivid image, sharp image. That is called movement poetry style. इसे imagism भी कहते हैं. This poetry is also called imagism. Short, clear description. So this is the modern poetry style. I will teach you these poets. Wasteland and other things. I will teach you all these important points. Wasteland terminology क्या क्या है? How Wasteland is divided in 5 parts. What is my jalebi method of Wasteland? If you know it, write in the comments. What is my jalebi method of Wasteland? And I'll teach you this thing. This is an introduction of modern age. अभी सिर्फ introduction है. Drama. Nobody can go for drama in modern age if you do not know this man. G.B. Shaw, John Galsworthy, Arnold Bennett, J.M. Barrie, and above all these, the writer from Norway, Henrik Ibsen. These are primarily behind modern day drama. और बहुत सारे ड्रामेटिस्ट हैं. कैंपस नॉवल आ जाएगा, कैंपस ड्रामा, डेविड लॉज एंड ऑल. किचन सिंक ड्रामा विल बी हेयर द पार्ट ऑफ दिस मॉडर्न एज. बट सी ड्रामा, G.B. Shaw, all types of social problems, primarily social issues were dealt by him. His plays are called pleasant plays and unpleasant plays, and there he talks about the social issues. G.B. Shaw's famous quotation was that villain in my plays are not on the stage, they are among the audience. मेरी कहानी का विलन हमेशा ऑडियंस में होगा, it is not on stage. John Galsworthy, just like him, comes with social issues, deals with the same thing. Arnold Bennett deals with the psychology of people, of characters. His dramas are dealing with relationship, psychology of people. And Barry deals with supernatural elements in drama. Supernaturalism. He deals with supernaturalism. Henrik Ibsen, he deals with philosophy, primarily his famous book Hedda Gabler. Then he deals with psychology and social issues like Doll's House. इस बार भी पेपर में क्वेश्चन था Doll's House का. Nora Helmer, Krogstad, Torvald Helmer, it's a very important work. Opening scene पूछा था ना. These things we already have taught. ये हमने पढ़ाया हुआ है पहले. पेपर आसान आ गया था बहुत इस बार. These are the dramatists. We have to focus on their drama style, then how they have used multiple narratives, then what is the idea of intertextuality in drama, what is one act play in the concept here. हमें ये देखना है. Plus modern dramas are 3-act play. Then comes fiction. When you go for fiction, the most leading author who is always important from modern point of view, D.H. Lawrence. This NET exam, there was a chronology. 2 days before exam, I posted a video and I told people, please remember chronology. Paper mein aayegi. This man is always in exam. Please remember this thing. James Joyce. Virginia Woolf. Henry James. Joseph Conrad. These are modern dramatists. एक दो और भी यहाँ पे etc करके आप कर सकते हैं बहुत सारे. But primarily D.H. Lawrence studying the idea of sexuality and family. James Joyce, absurdism. Virginia Woolf, psychology. Dealing with psychology. James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, almost same concept. Henry James focuses on the social structure and comparative study of Europe versus America. Henry James deals with female characters and Joseph Conrad with a new kind of writing, colonial writing with naval experience and a new type of language, Polish English language. ये सारे writers जो हैं they deal with English fiction. There are a lot more novelists in this thing. इसमें बहुत सारे लोग आ जाएंगे. इसमें हम H.G. Wells, Rudyard Kipling उनको भी ऐड कर सकते हैं. H.G. Wells, the science fiction writer, Rudyard Kipling. Then some post-colonial writers by this time, E.M. Foster and a lot more. इसमें बहुत सारे हैं. But primarily when you talk about exact kind of modern drama, a modern novel, then these people stand for exact modern kind of novels. There is no study of modern novels if you do not know Virginia Woolf, James Joyce and D.H. Lawrence. These two people, modernism, pure modernism, concept of sexuality, Henry James and Conrad. These 5 writers are crux of modern fiction. इनको जरूर पढ़ना होता है.